It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV World News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Yambo. Top stories in the news: UPND distances itself from President Edgar Lungu's eligibility case. The Socialist Party accuses the PF of buying its aspiring candidates. COVID-19 vaccination commences amid resistance from some stakeholders. And in international news, Denmark completely stops rollout of ASTRAZENECA vaccine. And in sports news, KITWE United secures first win of the season against NKANA.
Are you a qualified, impartial and professional journalist, news editor, video editor or newscaster? Camnet TV is looking for more professionals in the media industry. For more details, call 0962 965883 or send your details to our email info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Another news in detail. As the government works on the 8th National Development Plan, persons with disabilities have cautioned the government against using the theme for the 7th National Development Plan of not leaving anyone behind in vain. New Foundation of the Blind in Zambia Executive Director Peter Wale is saddened that persons with disabilities have been left behind in various aspects of the country's development trajectory. Meanwhile, government, through the Ministry of National Development Planning, is undertaking consultations with various stakeholders to build consensus on priority areas to be addressed in the 8th National Development Plan. We have more in this report.
Things like poverty, poor and vulnerability are mostly plainly spoken, but behind this, there are real people. Persons with disabilities are among marginalized groups who remain socially, politically and economically excluded. Access to employment, health and education are issues that remain inadequately attended to. The simple explanation is that people are remaining behind when it comes to development, contradicting the aspirations of the 7th National Development Plan 2017-2021 of accelerating development efforts towards Vision 2030 without leaving anyone behind. Foundation of the Blind in Zambia Executive Director Peter Wale is concerned that the disability agenda has not been prioritized.
We are being left behind. So let us stop singing this song if we're not walking our talk as a country. And to tell you the truth, Zambia is called a Christian nation. Is that what Christianity means? Let us not insult persons with disabilities by issuing statements that are injuring to them. We are being injured as persons with disabilities, and we simply need what we deserve. What we deserve. We deserve to be treated well. We deserve quality education, quality health, equal opportunities in terms of employment, so that we can have the buying power and not suffer from these other issues like malnutrition that may cause disabilities at the end of it all.
Yasin's called for a change of approach on disability issues in the country.
What we are simply saying is involve us. People have not been involving us in these matters. That's why we are saying that we are being left out. We are the first to be forgotten and the last to be remembered. Most of the times when we ask why didn't you involve us, they simply say it was an oversight. Should we be part of the oversight? If they cannot see me and they see disability, who has a disability? What we want is them to involve us. Not where they sit under a tree and decide of what to give to me. They don't know how blindness feels. They don't know how to walk on crutches feels. So what is important is me to be put on the table. We share the hot cake of this nation because I'm part and parcel of this nation.
If a problem is not a problem, but that a problem is how to solve a problem, then it is about time to reflect, because the prosperity of the nation is seen on how it treats underprivileged citizens. As the country journeys towards the 80th National Development Plan, measures must be put in place to promote an inclusive society. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Christian Churches Monitoring Group, CCMG, has asked the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to conduct a targeted voter registration exercise in areas with a low registration rate. This follows a thorough analysis conducted by CCMG on the voter registration numbers that were released by the ECZ. CCMG Steering Committee member Father Cleophas Lungu told a press conference that the voter registration exercise should focus on Central, Southern and Muchinga provinces. We have more in this report.
The Christian Churches Monitoring Group has concluded its analysis on the voter registration numbers that were released by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. The CCMG has recommended that the ECZ conducts a targeted voter registration exercise in areas where there is low registration rates. CCMG Steering Committee member Father Cleophas Lungu told a press conference that the voter registration exercise should focus on Central, Southern and Muchinga provinces.
The group CCMG would like to strongly urge the Electoral Commission of Zambia to undertake additional targeted voter registration exercises where there is demonstrated relative low registration rates per the voting age population analysis, especially in the three provinces with the lowest registration rates, namely Central, Southern, and Muchinga provinces. However, any targeted voter registration exercise should be based on an analysis of the registration rates at lower to practical levels as well.
Father Lungu advised the ECZ to do so in order to build the confidence in the voter registration process and to provide those in affected areas an opportunity to participate in the electoral process.
The monitoring group would like again to call upon the ECZ to release the complete provision of voters register as well as a certified voters register to allow stakeholders to review the full registers and to conduct computer-based audits of the register. By releasing the voters register for stakeholders to inspect in this way, the Electoral Commission of Zambia will be demonstrating its commitment to the transparency of the electoral process and will go a long way in building confidence and acceptability of the outcome of the forthcoming elections.
Whether or not the Electoral Commission of Zambia would agree to conduct the targeted voter registration, for now we can only wait and see. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Government says it is determined and committed to the provision of equity and access to quality, safe and efficacious medicines. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama, says this is manifested through a number of programs being implemented by the ministry in ensuring that there is effective regulation of medicines at all levels. Dr. Malama said this in a speech read on his behalf by Ministry Director, Performance Improvement, Dr. Jelita Chinyonga, during the opening of Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority Media Engagement Meeting in Lusaka today. And Zamra Acting Director General Makomani Sianga has thanked the media for its role in contributing to achieving the authority's mandate through timely dissemination of regulatory information to the masses.
An engagement meeting organized by the Zambian Medicine Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reliably informed that this media engagement meeting has drawn participation from over 20 print and electronic media houses in Lusaka and is part of the authority's continued efforts of sensitizing and building media capacity in reporting on health-related issues. As you may be aware, Zambia is mandated to ensure that all medicines and allied substances placed on the Zambian market conform to set standards of quality, safety, and efficacy throughout the supply chain, as provided for under the Medicines and Allied Substances Act No. 3 of 2013. Distinguished participants, Effective regulation of medicinal products requires strategic and constant engagement and collaborations with key development partners, such as the media. They say, I quote, "The media is the fourth estate, as it is one of the pillars of democracy and a cornerstone of sustainable development. The media has the ability to influence positive change in society through, for instance, production of news, stories, articles, and commentaries on the
Health Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda has become the first Zambian to receive the ASTRAZENECA COVID-19 vaccine, which arrived in the country on Monday. Dr. Chanda, who launched the vaccination program Wednesday morning in Lusaka, says all the 228,000 vaccines will be utilized on willing citizens above the age of 18, with priority being given to certain groups of people. Dr. Chanda says the next vaccine doses under the COVAX facility are expected to be delivered in May 2021, with more consignments to follow thereafter. And speaking at the same event, European Union Ambassador to Zambia, Jacek Jankowski, says the EU is among the biggest supporters of the COVAX facility. Details in the following report.
It is now official. AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines are now available for vaccination to about 228,000 Zambians willing to take the vaccines to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Ministry of Health has officially launched the first ever COVID-19 vaccination program targeting a population above 18 years, with priority being given to frontline workers, such as frontline health care workers in both public and private health facilities, the police, defense and security personnel, immigration officers, teachers, judiciary staff, traditional leaders, the clergy, and the media. Dr. Chanda launched the program Wednesday morning at the University Teaching Hospital and says the provincial and district launches will be held countrywide over the next few days as the vaccines reach every province.
That we approach this virus with the seriousness that it deserves, because if we don't, we may be easily wiped out. No country is an island. Zambia is part of the global community, and COVID-19 knows no race, knows no color, knows no tribe, knows no political affiliation. It infects human beings and it kills human beings. Therefore, we have to put together. This is a time for bold, decisive action to stop the spread of the coronavirus disease once and for all.
Speaking at the same event, U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Jacek Jankowski, said the UN was among the biggest supporter of the COVID facility. Jacek Jankowski says the UN is among the biggest supporter of the COVID facility.
The first rollout targets the health workers who risk their life daily to help fight the pandemic. Based on evidence, the elderly and most vulnerable are at equally high risk of severe illness and death from the COVID-19. Thus, we encourage you to prioritize this group before the other frontline workers considered in the second priority cluster of the National Vaccination Plan.
And UN Resident Coordinator Kumbo Magaria and UN Ambassador the Affairs David Young have called on Zambians to get vaccinated, as the vaccines are safe and the only way to bring the pandemic to an end.
The goal is to ensure that these safe and effective vaccines are not just for the richest nations. Vaccine equity is a moral test of global solidarity. But equally, the world will not be safe until everyone is safe. Immunized populations are better placed to restart their lives, restart their economies, restart tourism, and protect development gains. Honorable Minister, this is a campaign that will require the contribution of every health worker, every traditional and religious leader, every influencer, every citizen, to encourage those around them to join the campaign when their turn comes.
And Dr. Chanda has led by example by becoming the first to receive the vaccines, while urging other stakeholders to follow suit. While COVID-19 kills and is here and here to stay, the choice still remains for one to either take the vaccines or not. Make that decision now. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, the opposition United Party for National Development Vice President Mutale Nalumango has wondered why the government settled for the ASTRAZENECA vaccine, which is said to have issues. Speaking to Camnet News, Ms. Nalumango is concerned that the government is subjecting citizens to a vaccine whose efficacy is being questioned following incidents of blood clots.
On the market, because we don't even have the capacity to really go through and say we are testing to do what. So we should get that which is recommended. Whatever others are putting question marks to should not be the ones we bring. That is our problem. That's why we are honeybee. That's why we bring wrong things. You mean we have no choice? They should get the best. Zambians must be wary of being treated as second-class citizens of the world. That is not the way it should be. So it is good. We want vaccines for me, but bring the very best. Don't bring what others have questioned. People that have gone before you, why should you go into that which others have seen as questionable? So I am wondering, maybe the Minister of Health can explain why he thinks that is the best. It is one that is personal choice, but the minister and the government has a responsibility, because we are already saying other countries have questioned this drug. So why are you bringing a questionable drug? Why didn't they get the Johnson & Johnson? I don't hear much question about that. Why not get the best?
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has distanced itself from the court case of petitioning the eligibility of President Edgar Lungu by KITWE Member of Parliament Bampi Kapalasa. UPND Party Secretary General Watuke Imenda says the action taken by the lawmaker was done in his own capacity, as he is entitled to do so as a Zambian citizen. Meanwhile, other stakeholders have welcomed the move taken by the Member of Parliament, stating that it is high time that the citizens are not left in any doubt of President Edgar Lungu's eligibility. We have more in this report.
Just like any other controversial stories, different views have continued to emerge over the decision taken by KITWE Member of Parliament Bampi Kapalasa to petition the eligibility of President Edgar Lungu in the Constitutional Court, with now having the United Party for National Development Secretary General Imenda Watuke to issue a statement distancing the party from the action taken by Mr. Kapalasa. According to the statement, they have distanced themselves from the case. As far as they are concerned, President Edgar Lungu is not yet a candidate for the elections. The UPND party states that the move taken by Mr. Kapalasa has been done in his own capacity, and if the party decide to petition the president eligibility, they shall follow the laid-down procedure as prescribed by the law. Meanwhile, United Party for Zambia, UBZ President, had this comment over the issue.
We hope this will bring all the tension that are in the nation to an end, because we've seen that some lawyers within the country have threatened the peace of the nation, that the time that President Edgar Lungu is going to file his nomination, they will run to court so that they can get the ruling from the court to determine either Edgar Lungu is eligible to stand or not. And for us as United for Better Zambia, we think what the Honorable MP for KITWE has done, this should be recommended by everyone. And it's sad that his friend from UPND now, they have turned against him, that what he has done is not a good recommendable thing. But looking at what he has done, he wants peace to prevail in Zambia, so that if the court can rule before that time that President Edgar Lungu is going to file his nomination, then it will bring peace to the people of Zambia, because by the time President Edgar Lungu is going to file his nomination, it means everyone will understand, because the court has already ruled. We know that the UPND, they have a plan where they want to bring a chaos in the country by running to the court, stopping Edgar Lungu to file nomination. As we know that even the PF themselves, they're not going to allow that situation to happen. So it will bring violence. But according to what the Honorable MP has done, this will help the people of Zambia.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Police have apprehended a 24-year-old Patriotic Front cadre of Kamala South in Lusaka for allegedly hounding out from office a civil servant on political grounds. Deputy Police Public Relations Officer Danny Mwale says Charles Kakula, the suspect, is in police custody and investigations have continued in the matter. And Secretary to the Cabinet, Dr. Simon Miti, has ordered that disciplinary action be taken against Ministry of Works and Supply Permanent Secretary Lennox Kalonde for failing to stop the harassment of his member of staff and for failing to prevent illegal trespass of his office by unknown persons. Meanwhile, Patriotic Front Media Director Sande Chanda has condemned the act by the cadres and called on investigative wings to bring the culprits to book without delay. Prudence Chota has more in this report.
The only offense she committed is best known to the cadres who attacked her. This is a case in which a female inspector of government vehicles identified as Sherry Chatukwa from the Ministry of Works and Supply was attacked by Patriotic Front cadres while in her office, dragged her from the office to the office of the Permanent Secretary Lennox Kalonde on allegation that she is a United Party for National Development UPND supporter. The Permanent Secretary, however, remained quiet in the matter, and one wonders why this was the case. They said cadres went as far as locking her office and threatening to ban her if she ever showed up at the ministry. This behavior has, however, caught the attention of the public, institutions and stakeholders who have condemned the act in the strongest term. And reacting on the matter, United Party for National Development Lusaka Province Youth Chairperson Anderson Banda says it is saddening to note that cadres now have authority to work in government offices and harass people and walk scot-free.
As UPND youths, we are deeply concerned and we condemn the behavior by PF cadres in the strongest term. And we urge the police, as usual, to arrest the perpetrators. But the question that a normal person can ask is, that is a ministry office. Largely and mostly those places are guarded by state police and other security firms. The question is, who gave leeway to those cadres to access the office of that innocent civil servant? And not only that, even the permanent secretary was present when that was happening, because that woman, she never committed any crime, and they never had this physical proof that she's UPND. They never found her in illegality, or never found her with a membership card, which is not even a crime.
Meanwhile, Patriotic Front Media Director Sande Chanda says his party does not subscribe to bullying and intimidation of civil servants. It says the conduct of the suspected cadres is not only intolerable, but borders on criminality and has called on investigative wings to bring the culprits to book without delay. But Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says the matter is being investigated and that arrests will be made in due time.
And we cannot tolerate that kind of lawlessness. No one, be it a political cadre, is allowed to harass any public official in a manner like this. So the culprits in that it will be dealt with in line with the law, because that is not something we can tolerate.
And the Human Rights Commission has acknowledged the statement by the Zambian police that they will investigate the matter, but says police should ensure that the perpetrators are arrested for committing a criminal offense.
But we urge the Zambia Police Service not to end at issuing that statement. They have a mandate of enforcing the law. To that effect, we are calling on the Zambia Police Service to arrest the perpetrators of that criminal behavior. Those who are responsible to have invaded the public or government offices, hounding a public officer out of the office, locking up the office, and threatening to ban her if she returns to the office, must face the consequences of the law.
Other stakeholders such as RPP President Leslie Chikusa, Minister of Information Dora Silia, and PF youths have joined the rest of the country in condemning the behavior of the state PF cadres and have called on the relevant authorities to ensure that justice is served. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Republican Progressive Party leader Leslie Chikose has challenged the Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja to remain professional with the 2 months he has been left with, as directed earlier this year by President Edgar Lungu. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka Wednesday morning, Mr. Chikose says the Inspector General of Police must try by all means to serve the people of Zambia in a professional manner and not oppress the people. In the meantime, the RPP president, who is also UPND Alliance spokesperson, has charged that the Patriotic Front is attacking the UPND manifesto because it talks about how they will fight corruption in the country. We have more in this report.
United Party for National Development UPND Alliance have called on the police to be professional when conducting their job. Their cry is that the police service should stop harassing the opposition. With the country soon to go to the polls, professionalism in the service is what is needed. The party alliance have also thrown a challenge to the Inspector General of Police.
So we would like to call upon the police to stop provoking the opposition. The IG, Kanganja, we are counting the days before the so-called forced retirement that was given to you by President Lungu, the 6 months. You are remaining with approximately 2 months to go. 2 months to go. We ask you, who employed you, ask the people, can you be professional in the next 2 months? We shall re-employ you. Remain sure that you have changed. Remain professional. In the next 2 months, show that you are a man of the people, that you are there to protect the people. We, the people, the owners of these state institutions, will re-employ you.
Meanwhile, the UPND Alliance spokesperson has charged that embattled National Democratic Congress leader Chimba Kambuli has become irrelevant to the political space.
Today people can talk about Chimba Kambuli because he was talking on behalf of the people. The fact that he has shown cowardice, fear for being arrested, fear for being imprisoned, and has failed to protect and talk for the people, and demanded that the people talk for him, the people begin to protect him, he has become irrelevant to the political dispensation. And so, we wish him well in his future endeavors, but he must not begin to threaten the opposition that I will spill the beans. You will spill a beans. How many times are you going to spill the beans? How many times are you going to spill the beans? And to who?
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV World News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing.
Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
At Showmax, you get instant access to full seasons of award-winning series and blockbuster movies.
It's amazing.
You get shows you won't find anywhere else, like Showmax Originals.
Thank you so much.
You get awesome kids shows.
Freaking awesome.
Amazing documentaries.
You literally cannot make this up.
And now, you also get live world-class sport from Supersport.
Everything's under control.
All ready and waiting for you to watch online on your smartphone, tablet, desktop, or smart TV, wherever and whenever you like.
Whoa.
So what are you waiting for? Go to showmax.com to sign up. From football seasons to binge-worthy seasons, you'll get it all on Showmax. One platform, endless entertainment.
Are you a qualified, impartial and professional journalist, news editor, video editor or newscaster? Camnet TV is looking for more professionals in the media industry. For more details, call 0962 965883 or send your details to our email info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. This is Camnet TV News, not just another channel. We continue with the news. The Socialist Party has accused the governing Patriotic Front of approaching its aspiring candidates to contest on its party ticket ahead of the August 12 general elections. Party Vice President Cosmas Musomali has disclosed that the party has so far received 25 cases of its aspiring candidates at both ward and constituency level being approached by the Patriotic Front officials. He says the ruling party is asking its members to ditch the party on condition that they will be given money and jobs and other material things. Speaking during a media briefing in Lusaka, Dr. Musomali says of the 25, 8 are aspiring members of parliament, while 17 are aspiring councillors. He alleges that of those approached, only one aspiring candidate in Mufumbe constituency accepted. He has pointed out that the behavior being portrayed by the Patriotic Front is unacceptable and should be condemned in a democratic country like Zambia. He further stated that those accepting the offers are betraying the Zambian people, further urging citizens not to vote for them in this year's elections.
Targeted buying off of our candidates. And this is happening at an unprecedented large scale. 17 days ago, we received news from Lwapula. One of those adopted MP candidates told us that constituency level PF officials had approached her. The demand was she steps down. She doesn't continue as an SP parliamentary candidate, and in return, she was going to be rewarded with a prize of 200,000 kwacha. The impression we are getting is this is well coordinated, it's well funded, and the language being used is standard. Because of that, this cannot be the work of a few misguided individuals in the PF. This is something that is coordinated from the top. The 17 incidents that I'm referring to have involved a total of 25 of our candidates, 8 of them being MP candidates and 17 councillor candidates. To those comrades that were entrusted by the masses of our country to represent them, and who are today being bought for pieces of silver, we wish them good luck. But what they should know is that they are betraying the Zambian masses that put trust in them. To the PF leadership, if you are the strongest party in the country and you have performed very well, why do you have to sink that low?
Minister of Local Government Charles Banda has directed all councils in the country to cease the sale and lease of all council properties. Dr. Banda has also directed all councils in the country to reverse any sale or lease of properties that have been done in the last 3 months, starting from the 14th of January 2021. The local government minister says any individual or institution that purchased or leased property from any council in the country during the said period should henceforth be refunded. Dr. Banda says his ministry has in the last few weeks received reports from across the country that there has been possible reckless sale and lease of land, open spaces, as well as movable assets by the local authorities.
I wish to inform the nation that all local authorities are hereby directed to cease the sale or lease of any council property. This includes land, open spaces, movable assets. By this statement, all local authorities are also directed to reverse any sale or lease of property that has been done in the last 3 months, starting from 14th January 2021. In this regard, any individual or institution that purchased or leased property from any council in the country during this period should henceforth be refunded.
Vice President Inonge Wina says clean and sufficient water is critical to the healthy function of the human body. Mrs. Wina says clean drinking water reduces the risk of contracting waterborne diseases and is a key component in maintaining good hygiene in homes, markets, schools, and other public places. The Vice President made the remarks Wednesday morning when she commissioned the Chongwe Water Supply Project. And Minister of Water, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, Raphael Nakachinda, says water problems in Chongwe have been persistent, especially in the dry season, stating that the commissioning of the project will provide a long-lasting solution to the challenge.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this important occasion, I wish to remind everyone that while there is good reason to celebrate the arrival of clean and sufficient water to meet domestic, commercial and industrial requirements in the district, water comes with value that we must all cherish. Apart from satisfying our commercial and industrial needs, clean and sufficient water is critical to the health functioning of the human body. This is so because clean drinking water reduces the risk of contracting waterborne diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, and typhoid, among others. In addition, clean water is a key factor in maintaining good hygiene in homes, markets, schools, and other public places.
This project could not have come at a better time than now, as it will contribute in mitigating the challenges of water supply in Chongwe, especially during the dry season. It is for this reason that a successful completion of this project will provide long-lasting solutions to the water problems in Chongwe. As such, it is expected that over 18,000 people will benefit from this project through provision of clean water. And the project, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, will also increase hours of water supply from 11 hours, which is currently the case, to 22 hours per day. Immediately this is fully in operation.
They've done this, and I'm grateful to them. I am humbled. I'm humbled and grateful to all the people. I have been in the forefront myself, as a front runner, as a chieftainess. If, as a chieftainess, I did not give it a green light to Saka Water and Storage Company, who approached me, where we traveled with them to try to identify the water points in Chongwe. Because Chongwe, as you see, Chongwe River Deep down.
The Worldwide Fund, WWF, has called on the Zambian government and the private sector to prioritize investment in the water sector by ensuring that water bodies are safeguarded. WWF's Zambia Country Director, Nachilala Nkombo, says sound management of water resources is crucial in promoting sustainable long-term economic growth. Mrs. Chilala says the current investment in the water resources remains unacceptably low, implying that natural systems, while subsidizing the economy, are not being maintained to retain those services in the long term. The country director said this Wednesday morning during the launch of the report dubbed the Strategic Investment Pathways Report, a case of the Zambezi River Basin. In the meantime, Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Acting Director Richard Lungu says government will study the report and its key recommendations to ensure that water bodies in the country are protected. We have more in this report.
Zambia faces increasing pressure on water resources, which will pose challenges to realizing the full benefit of water for the economy, environment and society. Ensuring that water resources continue to contribute to Zambia's economic, environmental and social development will require significant investment. How these investments are designed, sequenced and financed will influence their capacity to deliver on Zambia's development objective in a sustainable manner over a long term. Worldwide Fund Zambia Country Director Nachilala Nkombo says there is compelling evidence that environmentally conscious investment in water resources delivers strong financial returns and creates value for all water users. She said this during the launch of a report dubbed the Strategic Investment Pathway Report, a case of the Zambezi River Basin.
As we are all aware, the Zambezi Basin is arguably the most important natural asset for the country and the region, as it has been driving economic development for many years. A sustainable Zambezi means a sustainable economy, and a sustainable future for Zambia and its neighbors requires that the Zambezi Basin is well managed. A degraded or declining Zambezi is therefore a threat for communities and industry alike. Thus, this report we're launching today marks a very significant moment for our country and the region, as it points to actions that must be taken to sustainably manage this resource and guide future investments.
And I'm representing Zambian breweries. For us, water stewardship is very important, but I hope that I'm talking on behalf of the private sector in Zambia. We really, and I have talked with several CEOs and directors of companies, and this is something that we are worried, we're concerned around our environment. We're seeing the impact of the climate change.
And Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Acting Director Richard Lungu, who spoke on behalf of Minister Raphael Nakachinda, says government will take time to study the report and its key recommendations.
Water remains an essential factor in economic development. It is a key enabler of all economic activities taking place in the country, such as agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, industrial development, and hydropower generation. Let us all create awareness on the content of the report and implement some of the key recommendations contained therein.
Water is generally an undervalued and underpriced resource. That situation contributes to a persistent financing gap of water-related investments globally, and this is not different in Zambia. Better valuing water requires recognizing the full range of direct and indirect benefit and risk associated with water, which may be cultural, spiritual, economic, environmental, and social. By doing so, valuing water can promote efficiency, innovation, and better policies by exposing the short and long-term cost of pollution, waste, and misallocation of the resources, thereby facilitating investment that contributes to water development and mitigates the water-related risk at the local, landscape, and global levels. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Director of Public Prosecutions has entered a nolle prosequi in a matter in which a 29-year-old woman poured hot water on her husband after he slapped her for going home late. Suzanne Mundlangwa was facing one count of causing grievous harm with intent to disfigure or disable. The incident occurred on the 1st of January this year when Mundlangwa arrived home late, and when her husband Derek Walia slapped her, she got a pot of hot water and burned him. Her husband sustained serious burns on the lower abdomen and other parts of the body. When the matter came up for plea before High Court Judge Winnie Mwenda, the court was informed that the state had decided to discontinue the matter by entering a nolle prosequi in favor of the accused, pursuant to Section 81 and 82 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale has set the 5th of May 2021 as ruling in a case or no case to answer in a matter in which a 53-year-old farmer of Chisamba is accused of having carnal knowledge against the order of nature with a 17-year-old pupil and being in possession of obscene materials. Allegations are that Douglas Watt, the accused, committed the offense on the 17th of July 2019. And when the matter came before court Wednesday morning, Detective Inspector George Walia told the court that he arrested the accused after he found him with a 17-year-old boy in a lodge. According to Mr. Walia, he also subjected the accused to Levi Mwanawasa Hospital for a medical examination to be done on his private part. You're watching Camnet News. We take a break. We'll be back with international news after the break.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Comes in twos this weekend on GoTV. It may take two to tango, but when there's trouble in paradise, one might just run solo. Jean-Claude Van Damme puts his life on the line to save two brothers from the gang, and a brutal double murder leaves a close-knit community traumatized. GoTV, love it.
Are you a qualified, impartial and professional journalist, news editor, video editor or newscaster? Camnet TV is looking for more professionals in the media industry. For more details, call 0962 96 5883 or send your details to our email info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
In international news, Denmark has ceased giving the Oxford ASTRAZENECA COVID vaccine amid concerns about rare cases of blood clots, the first European country to do so fully. The move is expected to delay the country's vaccination program by several weeks. A drug watchdog, the European Medicines Agency, last week announced a possible link with clots, but said the risk of dying of COVID-19 was much greater. Several European countries had previously briefly suspended the jab. Most have now resumed vaccinations with AstraZeneca, but often limits to older age groups. Meanwhile, the U.S. federal authorities have urged health officials to hold off on using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because 6 people out of the 6.8 million who received it had developed blood clots and 1 has died. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is administered in a single dose, is cheaper than other vaccines and can be kept at regular refrigeration temperatures. The delay is expected to last just days, but what they uncover about this could have a huge impact on the many countries counting on this vaccine to get them past the pandemic. Here is a roundup of international news.
If the COVID vaccines were video game characters, what would their stats be? Let's take a look. Effectiveness. A lot of figures have been bandied about, but all of them have been based on trial data, and it's really hard to compare like for like. Pfizer-BioNTech says its vaccine is up to 95% effective after 2 doses. The Moderna vaccine is said to be nearly 95% effective, while the Oxford AstraZeneca one is between 62 and 90% effective. This 62% figure may sound lower, but no one who received the Oxford vaccine during trials was hospitalised or became seriously ill with COVID. Basically, they all work, otherwise they wouldn't have been approved. Price. Countries don't like to say how much they're paying for each vaccine because the information is commercially sensitive. But it's thought the UK paid £15 for each dose of the Pfizer vaccine, £25 for each dose of the Moderna vaccine, but only £3 for each dose of the Oxford one. In places like the UK, the vaccine is free to anyone who wants it. But these governments still have to pay a lot of money to these companies, so they'd rather it was cheaper. Storage and transport. The Pfizer vaccine needs to be stored at -70 degrees Celsius, sent out in special boxes surrounded by dry ice to freezer farms, where it can be kept for up to 6 months. It can then be stored in a normal fridge for up to 5 days before being given to people. It's a similar process with Moderna, but that vaccine only needs to be kept in a regular freezer, so at around -20 degrees Celsius. The Oxford vaccine, though, only needs to be kept in a normal fridge, which means it's easier and cheaper to move around than the other two. But the truth is, when it comes to vaccines, they're not up against each other. They're all going to play key roles when it comes to ending this pandemic.
Now, Denmark has temporarily halted the use of the COVID-19 vaccine manufactured by AstraZeneca. That's after reports of a small number of cases of blood clots. Denmark only approved the AstraZeneca vaccine 6 days ago for those above the age of 65. Let's bring in Paul Brennan, who's in London for us for more on this. So, Paul, any reaction from Oxford AstraZeneca to this decision by Denmark to pause the use of its vaccine?
There hasn't been a reaction from AstraZeneca yet. I mean, they said that they're in contact with the Austrian authorities because Austria too is stopping using the one particular batch of AstraZeneca jabs, AstraZeneca vaccines, after 2 incidents there. One was a death from a coagulation disorder, and the other one was an illness from a pulmonary embolism. So these are all sort of vaguely blood clot related things. The Danish situation appears to be born of an abundance of caution because the Danish Health Authority has said that they haven't given any details of exactly how many blood clot cases there have been, and they haven't given any details of the background history of the one person who's died in Denmark. But what they did say was that it was currently not possible to conclude whether there was a link between the vaccine and these deaths. So the health minister said, and I'm quoting, "We are acting early. It needs to be thoroughly investigated."
The Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, also known as Vaxzevria, is currently authorized for use in 83 countries. In a special feature, we look at the side effects of this vaccine. Data from 23,745 participants in clinical trials show that common side effects include headache, fatigue, muscle or joint pain, fever, chills, and nausea. Pain or irritation at the site of injection was also common. Most of these side effects resolved within a few days. Since vaccinations with Vaxzevria started, some people have experienced an allergic reaction to certain ingredients in the vaccine. Symptoms of this type of reaction may include hives, rash, swelling, and breathing problems. Those who have known allergies to any of the ingredients are advised against receiving this particular vaccine. There have also been cases of anaphylaxis. The British Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency says that out of 19.5 million doses of Vaxzevria administered in the United Kingdom, 455 were associated with an anaphylaxis-related adverse reaction. That's 0.002% of vaccinations. The European Medicines Agency, or EMA, recently concluded that unusual blood clots with low platelets should be listed as a very rare side effect of Vaxzevria.
It's now time for sports news. In sports news, in the MTN Super League results midweek fixtures, Power Dynamos and Indeni Football Club played to a 1-0 draw, and Young Green Eagles has beaten Zanaco by 2-0. Meanwhile, KITWE United has defeated NKANA by 2-1. This is the first win for KITWE United for this season. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, we'll take a look at the headlines once more. UPND distances itself from President Edgar Lungu's eligibility case. The Socialist Party accuses the PF of buying its aspiring candidates. COVID-19 vaccination commences amid resistance from stakeholders. And in international news, Denmark completely stops rollout of ASTRAZENECA vaccine. And in sports news, KITWE United secures first win of the season against NKANA. We now look at the Camnet verse for today, coming from James chapter 1, verse 2-3, and it reads, "Consider it a great joy, my brothers, whenever you experience various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance." My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Join us tomorrow for more news. Bye-bye.